Well, here we are 8 years later. Microsoft's new game console had all kinds of rumored names before it was actually announced today, including Durango, 720, and more recently Infinity. But in the end, they decided to go with the far simpler name Xbox One. The presentation was absolutely packed with new information, so we're going to try to boil it down for you as much as possible. First and foremost, let's get the hardware out of the way. Under the hood of the Xbox One is an AMD Jaguar-based custom CPU-GPU solution that features an 8-core processor. This will be paired with 8GB of RAM and a 500GB hard drive by default. For reference, the internals of the One are remarkably similar to that of the PS4, so it's hard to declare a winner on that front. All new Xbox Ones will come equipped with the next generation Kinect, which features a 1080p wide-angle camera, a much improved microphone for better voice recognition, and some new tech that allows for incredibly accurate and responsive tracking capabilities. The controller gets a slight makeover, but most notably will include new vibrating impulse triggers that will provide feedback when an in-game action occurs that triggers them. The most interesting development in the presentation didn't have anything to do with hardware, but rather the software. The Xbox One will feature true multitasking, enabling you to quickly switch between running applications without having to exit and then restart anything. You'll also be able to snap applications to a quarter of the screen in a manner that will be familiar to Windows 8 users. The One will also feature a very powerful TV guide that will connect to your set-top box via HDMI and enable you to browse with a controller, use voice commands, select favorite shows, get recommendations, and much more. Paired with the multitasking support, this will enable you to do things like switch to cable between matches in your game or look up something online while watching a movie. Microsoft is clearly trying to further extend the use of Xbox into a full-featured entertainment hub. And while Microsoft has made this promise about pretty much all of their consoles to date, the One might actually have the right stuff to deliver on that promise. Oddly enough, games were the category that received the least coverage of any area during the presentation. This is most likely because game studios want to save their big reveals for E3, which is now less than a month away. Regardless, it would have been nice to see more actual information about games at a game console launch. Exclusives unveiled during the presentation include Forza 5, Quantum Break, and Call of Duty Ghosts. And to be honest, we didn't really learn all that much from these. There were a lot of pre-rendered video sequences and even some live-action footage, but not much actual gameplay. One thing that most were surprised by was the announcement of a Halo television series featuring Steven Spielberg as an executive producer. It will be a live-action series and the first of its kind produced by Microsoft and 343 Industries. Also mentioned was a partnership between Xbox and the NFL, which will give viewers a detailed information pane that includes stats about players, progress on games, and even custom fantasy football stat tracking options. There's a lot more questions left to ask after the presentation, but now we know the official name, the appearance, and a few new features of Microsoft's Xbox One. More details will come when people start actually getting their hands on the console, and we'll have a better idea of what next-gen games will look like once E3 is here, but for now, that's a first look at the console. Stay tuned for more information and updates, and we'll see you next time on Ask Ben.